locating a alternate PSAP at that site. I want to get this issue off center. I want to get it moving. I want to know which direction we're going to go. Therefore, I'm going to make the following motion: that we locate our alternate public service answering point on the campus of North Lebanon Township.
North Londonderry or North Lebanon?
Yeah, thank you. North Londonderry. But I read that to myself. I read North Lebanon sometimes. North Londonderry Township campus. Thank you. That we allow North Londonderry Township to build the facility for us, and that we the county reimburse North Londonderry Township to do that, and that we work out an agreement as to ownership or renting, etc. That the facility be 20 feet by 32 feet, that it's a freestanding facility with 2 exits, no windows, heat, ventilation, and air conditioning. That we have 1 answering point and 3 dispatcher positions for a total of 4 console positions. That we have another position for RACES, which is the amateur radio operators, and 1 additional space to add for expansion to a possible 5th console if felt needed down the line sometime. That we provide phone service for alternate routing and administration with rollover capability to the facility. That we locate our second CML Patriot switch on site. We already own this switch. It cost us $600,000, and the warranty is off, and now it's cost us about $100,000 a year to maintain. We just had 2 men trained to service it because of the outrageous rates Verizon wanted to do the same. That we locate our second CAD server out there. Both these items are currently housed in our EMA down in the basement. That we use an upgraded existing microwave shot. Our whole system is microwave, by the way, at this point for all 10 towers. But we use existing microwave with added microwave equipment to do 2 things. 1, to allow us to operate the CML switch and the CAD system, and then to run a second line which provides you with redundancy from North Londonderry Township and directly into the building, which will then form what's known as a concentric ring back here to the building. That we use the MACOM pagers, paging system known as PageGate server. That we have a backup line to the city police. That we have a direct line on speed dial to the Pennsylvania State Police. That we have the phone numbers and direct lines to the neighboring counties. That's what's required in a primary site, and we should do that for our 4 neighboring counties. That we have existing UPS equipment that we can locate there, and that we use the generators also of North Londonderry Township. They have a larger generator up there than we have in this building. So that's my motion. I'm asking for a second.
You're, if I may, before we rush into a motion,
I already made the motion.
a second to the motion.
Okay.
Before we do that, I'm not seconding it at this point. I think what you have is pretty good, and it sounds like you've compromised some, but I wondered if Dan has reviewed it, because I've not heard this since yesterday.
Essentially, well, you're...
I amend the motion
Yes, sir.
to say not to exceed the money that is left in the bond issue.
Yes, you may.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back to where I was
Well,
trying to get an answer to my question, if I may.
What was the question again?
It was redirected. Has Dan had an opportunity to review this? I know I didn't have it.
No, not since yesterday. That's correct. He's well aware of all
We
this.
discussed all that yesterday.
Yeah, and we've been having meetings.
I should say we listened
Jamie
to Marty.
Walgermuth and Dan have been having meetings, and there's nothing here you wouldn't do.
I am saying, I am looking at this favorably, but I want to make sure
Well, the answer is no. I haven't
that
talked to him
Dan
since
has
yesterday.
had an opportunity to review this, to make sure that we haven't forgotten anything,
Well, we can add to it if we
or
need
that
to.
there's nothing that's unreasonable in this proposal. It sounds okay, but, I mean, it's so quick, I would have liked to had a written thing to look over prior
Well,
to the meeting.
2 weeks ago, you told me I was too slow. You know, which way are you going to have it today? I mean, we got to go one direction or the other. I'm not going to just keep fooling around with this until the end of the year.
Larry, I'm trying to give you a compliment and saying it sounds like it's a fairly good proposal.
I'm so
but
unused to that.
Can we please make sure Dan reviews it before we take a vote so that we're sure that it's all inclusive and we haven't forgotten anything?
If I forgot, I'm sure there's some other items to add to this, but this you want as a basic. I'm not saying we shouldn't add something to that. And just like we discussed yesterday, we might wind up putting our own tower up there. I don't have that in here, but that may be necessary in order to make this work.
Well, the tower is the one thing that came up yesterday that I didn't hear, and the other thing
Well,
was
we
the
talked.
closeness to the TMI circle. So,
Joellen, are you aware in 1979 that they used the Hershey Arena as an evacuation center for TMI?
I respectfully request that our department head have an opportunity to review the
I
proposal.
guarantee he's familiar with all this stuff.
I second the motion only because I want to finally go on record as saying where we're going and everything else. And has been a lot of compromise here. Commissioner Stohler and Dan argued about it yesterday, all I wanted to hear. So I think we can move forward.
Okay. Carl,
Go from this building up to the
if you
other
had
site,
if you'd have to do that.
yeah.
If we
If there's
have,
an
If you had a-
emergency here
go ahead.
and we're out downstairs, we go up to the other site.
He said they can stay here and use it.
Yeah, you know, at the
Yeah,
time
but you wouldn't use it then.
if we have a bomb
if it
threat
doesn't
in this
fail.
building,
Yeah.
at this current time, we are asking our staff to stay here. Their lives are in danger if it's a credible event.
Right. It
We
would be.
need a backup. If it floods here, which it has done in 1972,
Yeah, I
we
agree.
need a backup. This is to fulfill that mission.
So then they would go up there.
Yes. Questions that I have concerning this, and this is why I'm saying it's so new that I just think, another one week would not change it. But except to
well,
clarify.
next week he's not going to be here.
May I,
And I'm tired of waiting. You know, you're after me. You come in here every 6 months and complain that I'm not moving fast. We don't have all the prices, but I'm ready to go ahead. We're gonna take a vote on this today, Joellen.
if I may, Larry, please. What I really need to know is one of the things just on this initial read that is unclear to me in what you have proposed. You're saying North Londonderry Township is going to do the build, but it does not tell me, are we doing the design and specifications?
with them.
Or are they doing them? That is not clear to me,
Dan Kaufman, Jamie Walgamuth, and I have been working with them.
but we're
and they're
turning
willing to work
everything
with
over to Dan then?
No, the three of us will continue to do it.
Um,
I'm not usurping my position as liaison and as a commissioner. We have the final say, the three of us, with whatever's done.
Okay, so we will be engaging the architect, or will North
Well,
Londonderry?
if we even need an architect, we might be able to do this. It's not a very complex structure.
You have to submit plans,
We
and they have
will.
to be sealed, so you
You
would
can
need
seal
an
them by an
architect.
engineer. No, you can seal them with an engineer. I think you'll find that. Yeah, you can.
Okay,
If
so
not, we'll get an architect, but
I guess those
we
are
aren't
the
gonna
kinds
break
of
any
things.
laws to do it.
No, those are the kinds of things, should we have some clarification in there? That we
Well,
would
Joellen, there's nothing here, there's no implication at all that anything would be done inappropriately or illegally.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
If we need a seal, we'll get a seal.
I just think that sometimes having those things spelled out makes it clearer and a little bit better for direction. I mean, we have two other commissioner candidates here, but
That's nice.
in a few months, there will be others on board, and they will need to know what the intent of these are. And the intent verbally is not the same as the intent in writing.
Well, that's what I'm gonna give her. She had it before in writing, and if you would've looked at your May 6th, 2010 minutes that you took, here that you never put on the YouTube, you would see all this. If you'd read your own, or look at your own stuff. Okay, we're gonna vote on this. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Now, wait a second, I just need a second, please. I want to vote for this.
Well, I appreciate that.
Can you please put an amendment in there that the commissioners will be part of the review for this architectural drawing?
I don't think we need to do that, but I don't have a problem with that, because we had the final say on everything, whether we put it in this. Do you think we need a motion that added? I mean,
I don't know, I think it's gonna complicate things.
then we'll leave it out.
Because we're saying architectural, and you're saying we don't need an architect.
I don't think we do. I think
Well,
an engineer
I
can
don't think I'll
sign
put a
it.
word in there that's gonna lock you into an architect.
Right, and cost us more money.
If we can do it ourselves, it'd be a lot cheaper than.
John and I got 2 votes, I'm going for 3.
Wait a second.
I've been waiting to
So
say.
you're gonna be auctioneer again?
You never know. I'm looking for another career.
So you're saying that this is subject to amendment, that this is not a final thing?
I'm saying we need this
It's saying
as
we're
a-
going to go ahead, but it's not locking us into, this is the final
No,
version.
this is pretty much, but there's gonna be little things you're gonna have to add to this now.
So the answer
Like
is yes,
I
it can
just
be
gave-
amended.
Well, you can amend anything, but what I'm saying is, I don't have in there, whether we don't know at this point if we can use Verizon tower, the man hasn't gotten back to me with an answer on that, to add the additional, to do the,
I'm going to vote yes
Concentric.
because I know that this is such a need for the safety of the citizens of our community.
Certainly
But I
can,
also
certainly.
want to make sure that we have the option to amend this because I'm sure there are things that we haven't thought of.
There-
It has been an
The
overnight,
majority of the board has the option to amend anything along the way.
right.
okay,
right.
just so that's
But
understood.
this is, okay, so 3-0, motion carried after 15 months, or whatever it took to get it redone.
Does this mean you're putting it out for bid?
We aren't bidding
We may not
anything.
bid it.
North Londonderry Township,
For bid?
we aren't bidding
We may not
anything.
bid it.
North Londonderry Township, and we come up with a final design, which is a rectangle building with 2 doors, a
We won't
pitch.
have to pay the prevailing wage if
Wage.
they do it.
Their township manager has a construction management background, and if you go to North Londonderry Township, every structure up there, they built themselves at a much lower cost. The building, gives at 150 a square foot, 96,000. That's what you're looking for, the structure.
If it's a hardened structure, meaning the walls are poured with concrete, it costs more than if you build a regular structure.
$1.5 million.
We had $1.5 million, but we
We
spent
spent
some of
some.
it
We
on
spent
CAD
some of it,
already.
though.
I don't know what we're down to, but we have spent some.
We
I
still
think
have,
we have over $500,000 left.
we have over $1 million.
But the cost of the building is one part. We have to equip it and put up probably another tower. The tower that's there is not ours, and we had to fight to get the 2 antennas on it. So if we are adding to it, it's going to be a real struggle. The option might be there to put up another tower. There are issues. Everything is not perfect there, but we think we can work through those issues. It's just a matter of making sure we can do it within our budget and not forget anything.
What do you mean you had to fight to get another antenna on it? Who'd you have to fight?
The company that owns it, I think it was Verizon, but I
Verizon.
don't want to
It's
speak out of
Verizon.
turn. Verizon didn't want to let us use their tower,
Oh.
and so we had to fight. I keep going back to this contract
Which contract?
that you drew up for
Oh,
that we
sorry.
passed. There's no mention in there about an equipment room or toilets.
Well, that's because if you go back to your thing that was presented before, we have been granted full privileges to use their bathrooms, their kitchen facility. We don't need any water on the site. But anybody besides me up there, are you familiar with it? Yes. They have quite a setup there in their maintenance garage, which this will be in that general vicinity. And they've been very gracious to us, and they've been very patient, waiting for us to do something.
But I guess my point is, Larry, we have to follow the rules that we set up for other people, and I don't think we can occupy a building without toilets. If that was the case, I could tell my tenants, come on down and use my toilet. I'm not putting a toilet
Well,
in
this
your...
isn't a public building. This is only going to be used for us, for emergencies and for training.
Well, I think we need, by law, toilets in that building.
We'll check the codes.
You're not going to,
But I don't think his calculation of space included space for the toilets.
It didn't because it's not necessary. So,
Well,
In any event, we'll get a determination.
yeah,
Right,
these are the
right,
kinds of
exactly.
things that I don't think were thought through.
well, I think you're mistaken. I've thought through this a lot.
the Career and Technology Center, that it was a no-brainer for
It
you?
was to
I
me.
think that if, when I looked at the current technology site, it was wonderfully reinforced with concrete on all sides. It was a bomb shelter in itself. However, the access was by a stairway. So again, trying to, in my mind, meet codes like toilets at this facility. At that facility, the challenge to me was handicap accessibility. Basements, underground facilities, of which I have lived in an earth home, you do need a dehumidifier kind of setup. So that was a consideration. It would have worked in a pinch, and if we didn't want to build, that site would work. But if we want to look at future expansion, I think that our population continues to grow, and the fact that we need space now, because currently we need another seat down there, another console in EMA, and there's no room to put it. Add that to the fact that the city wants us to take on their dispatching the first of the year. All these things considered, and we are not going to be able to contain ourselves. As the years go by, we are going to have to continue to expand. So do we do a temporary fix now by locating in a temporary position, or do we build something that we can add on to and meet the needs of the community as we grow? And for that reason, I understand and agree that building at North Londonderry Township is a good alternative. I would have been just as satisfied at Cedar Haven or the prison on our county land, but I have no problem with North London Township. But if we were going to build, I wanted to make sure that we didn't just build 3 consoles and 1 for races. That was not adequate. But what I heard today is that we're going to build, not necessarily equip right away, but build so we can accommodate 6 consoles. And that to me is a critical point. That is a reasonable backup PSAP.